Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And it's player props on a Monday to kick off this work week for you guys. We do have a couple other game videos up as well, so make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along with us. We're staying hot on these player props, averaging 3 and 1 a night this season. Feeling pretty good about that. Also want you to head to thelines.com. We've got great written content up there for you guys all season long, and our odds finder tool, so you can go ahead and make sure you're shopping those NBA player prop lines to the best of your ability across those U.S. sportsbooks. Get the most juice you can back on all those bets. Nate, let's go ahead and jump into your first NBA player prop for tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to follow the minutes here with Mikal Bridges. I expect him to play close to 40 minutes, chasing around De'Aaron Fox in Sacramento. And if he gets that amount of time, 15.5 points seems low. 23.5 PRA might be even more tempting because he is a guy that can fill it up and is starting to see a much bigger role for the Suns, especially with CP3 out. His last 9 games, he's averaging nearly 18 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 4 assists, and extremely efficient, continues to take a leap on offense every year. He's shooting 50, 45, and 93 in that span, playing 38 minutes per game, like I'm saying. Without CP3 since last year, his assists jump 1.5 from 2 to 3.5. His points jump 2 from 13 to 15.4. And his last 3 in Sacramento, like I'm saying, he's playing at least 40 minutes per game, scoring nearly 22. Actually, the last time he was there was an overtime game. They lost. He played 50 minutes. Nobody else on the Suns played over 37. Devin Booker got 37 in the overtime game. So Bridges scored 27 points in those 50 minutes guarding De'Aaron Fox that entire time, basically. And yeah, a little bit more production on the road since last season as well. A little bit higher usage rate, possibly because the Suns get into closer games. And this is a pick'em line, basically. So I don't think we're going to see either team run away with it. I think Mikal will come through for you on those peripheral stats.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned it in that game video talking about Phoenix. Mikal has been playing the most amount of minutes since CP3 went out. I mean, most amount of minutes on the team this season. And yeah, he's in there for defensive purposes, does not seem to get tired, and has been hitting that corner 3 especially at a very nice rate this season to be able to keep that total 3-point percentage at 45 for the man. Very, very impressive so far what he's been able to do, and basically the second best player on this team for them without CP3 in the game after Book. So MVP, SGA, that is my second pick here. I mean, there's only a few people that we would consistently be like, yeah, take over 30.5 points for this person, right? And I think Steph is there, Luka's there, SGA is there, maybe Jay Tatum, but I don't know if there's too many other guys in the league right now that we'd be like, yeah, 30, go ahead, don't even think about it. Minus 105 for him to get over 30 in this one. You could take the PRA, it's at 41.5, get slightly worse juice at minus 115 on DraftKings there if you take the points, rebounds, and assists combined. He's been doing it all, but I mean, the points is really what stands out to you, obviously. 30 plus in 8 of his last 10 games, last 2 versus New Orleans, 32.5 a game. His splits there are 47% from the field, 39 from 3. He's only taken like a couple threes a game, getting more than half of his points in the paint this season, which is pretty wild. New Orleans, not impressive in terms of defending the paint this season at all. Zion in there now. I don't know if that helps or hurt. They have a better defensive rating with him this season in a small sample size due to the Pellies, but I'm not really that concerned about it. SGA is also getting to the line. 22. He's gotten 22 free throw attempts over those last 2 versus the Pellies in 36 minutes a game. That's with a 36% usage rate as well against those Pellies, which is basically what he's doing this season. And especially on the road, that usage jumps up to 34%, which is where they're playing this one, versus 31% at home. Still very high. Averaging 32 a game, slightly more on the road. Slightly better splits, 52% from the field, 39% from 3 for SGA this season on the road. So this is just a good opportunity, and I like the fact that you basically get even money for him to get 31 points, which, like I've said, he's done 8 of his last 10 games out.
Yeah, the Thunder are playing tons of shootouts in that span, and Memphis just put up 133, I think, on New Orleans without CJ McCollum, who I guess is kind of integral to their perimeter defense. Or just, they didn't have that leadership out there to hold it together. I mean, SGA, just massive usage rate, 34% usage on the road and scoring 32 points per game off that. So, I mean, I think but rather over than under for sure. Going back to another game, we did a game video about the Wolves at the Wizards, and Rudy Gobert's rebounding prop is down a little bit, actually, to 11.5. in a game where we expect a ton of bricks. I mean, Washington is 21st in shooting efficiency, been worse than that lately. They give up the 7th most rebounds to opponents, and their rebounding rate has been particularly bad lately. In his last 4 versus the Wizards, Gobert, 13 points per game, 14 rebounds per game. He's actually been dependent on even more to rebound now that he's with the Wolves than the Jazz, because they're struggling overall as a team to board up. And so in his last 3, he's getting 14 per game, along with nearly 16 points. I'm kind of shying away from the points because we both kind of like under in this game, and we don't necessarily expect there to be some easy buckets down low. But I do expect there to be plenty to clean up. And like the last time he faced the Wizards, he had 19 rebounds as they built a house of bricks there in DC. I will take Gobert over 11.5 rebounds with confidence.
Yeah, that's fine. It's not that many, man. So there's no reason not to feel bad in any way about that one. For Rudy, it's rebounds, and yeah, I mean they play slower. I don't like the points either, but I think we can depend on a few bricks as well, and just a few more shots from Washington. So I'm gonna finish things off. We're trying to find. We were talking about this beforehand, and looking at that Pacers and Lakers game with the team that plays the fastest and the Lakers team that plays the 5th fastest in the Pacers there, and trying to find some overs after. The Lakers just gave up 138 points to the Spurs without Anthony Davis playing again. He's questionable. Not sure if we'll see him again. It sucks. I'll just bring it up. He got hurt trying to help LeBron up. It was a total wild fluke thing and weird, total Anthony Davis style. But he should be back before long. It's not going to be too serious. It's just when he's not in, I feel good about taking a Myles Turner over. And Turner's been playing a lot better lately after he's come back from injury. He could be on the Lakers and they would be better. I don't know why he's still not a Laker. That's really why we want to talk about this prop. It was either him or Buddy Hield as 2 guys that have been linked to the Lakers for years now, and I think we know that both of them would be helpful, at least Myles Turner especially. 15.5 points, 8.5 boards at plus 120. I'm really interested in the boards, but I would probably take either of those. In his last 5, he is averaging about 18 points, 7.5 boards. He's also got the 2 blocks where you don't really get much juice there, as if he gets 2 blocks, and this one it's minus 180 for him on that, as they're really expecting him to do that. So I might stay away from those, but the 30 minutes a game that he's been getting, actually upping those minutes and that usage steadily over the course of the last 5 or 6 games that he's been back. As I mentioned, with that pace and with the amount of field goal attempts that are going up each game, with the fact that Russell Westbrook will probably be putting up a few more shot attempts without AD in there to command the ball from him, even though LeBron's in there. I think that this does lend itself to an opportunity to either take 16 points for Myles Turner, which does feel a little bit easier and more likely, but if he gets 9 boards at plus 120, if he's averaging about 8 already, I'm happy to put a little bit on one more board to come in a game that's going to have a ton of shots put up.
Yeah, it was crazy how much worse the Lakers' defense was without AD in the same exact matchup in San Antonio. They gave up 138 and 17 offensive rebounds to probably the worst offensive rebounding team of the last 3 years. So Myles Turner could be able to gobble some of that. He could have some extra motivation, considering he publicly was like, yeah, the Lakers should definitely trade for me. I'd be a huge asset. So he's going to go out there and try to prove that. And look, if AD's out, I think you can take some overs all over the place, including 232 for this game total. These are the 1st and 5th fastest paced teams. Look at some Halliburton overs maybe, and just hammer it that way. But I think we should see some good points here scored tonight.
Yeah, the Lakers told you how they're going to play this season, and they're not changing it up. And that's in part because Russ Westbrook is now on that second unit, which means at no point in this game will there be somebody who's not playing at a frenetic pace between he, Lonnie Walker, and even LeBron at this point, who's pushing and going. So, yeah, points, hit some stuff in that game for some overs. That is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along with us, coming back to you each and every weekday this regular season. So until we see you next, happy betting.